Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA news, we have Ariel Helwani saying that Dana White doesn't handle the big matchmaking decisions as much anymore. It's mostly Hunter Campbell. There have been many controversial fighters that Dana hasn't quite gotten along with over the years, and Ariel says that Dana just lets Hunter mostly handle the big fights now.
The one who's probably involved the most, especially with the big fights, is Hunter. Hunter's the one doing the negotiations. He's the one really on the front lines, especially for the big fights, like the Nate Diaz situation, a John Jones, a Stipe, a thing like that. All that is Hunter. It's very, very rare that Dana gets involved in the negotiations. It's very rare that he's on the front lines, that he's getting his hands dirty. It's really on Hunter now.
As many of us know, Dana isn't the biggest fan of Ariel, and the two have went back and forth over the years. There's still no shortage of love lost here. In other MMA news today, Jiri Prochazka recently spoke with Ariel about him tapping while Glover Teixeira had him mounted. Jiri said he knew it was dangerous, but it was a part of his strategy to throw Glover off of his game.
And you were kind of playing with fire a little bit a couple of times because you were tapping him, saying like, good job. But initially when I'm watching it, I'm like, wait a second, did he just tap? Obviously it's clear you didn't, but why did you do that? Why did you feel the need to do that?
I did that because I tried to push him, to give me more, show me more. Yeah, because I tried to make him some action.
Yeah.
And I wait for that action to do some to reverse it. Yeah. And that's why I did that, not for tapping, just that.
Of course.
For like a strategy, but it was very dangerous. Yeah, now I realized that.
Darren Till leaks his phone number during a live interview after a fan shows off a tattoo of Khamzat Chimaev on his leg.
Wow. Yes. Get this. 07393.
I think we'll say it in the chat a couple of times.
Don't worry about it, mate. Everyone's already got it because it's matched me. 07393 728 443.
I went me. Why are you doing that?
That's what you're doing, man.
Darren Till posts new sparring footage as he begins training with Khamzat Chimaev for his upcoming fight with Jack Hermanson at UFC London on July 23rd.
Darren Till. Han gör mer ljud. Smildogs. Vanlig med kardborreband. Jag beställer dem nu.
Recently on ESPN, Charles Oliveira said he wants the Conor McGregor fight next. He says the fight should already be signed. Conor McGregor would be a very good fight for me. It would put a lot of money in my pocket, and at this moment, that's the most important thing. It would also be really good for my legacy for me to have in my story, regardless if he's coming from defeat or not. He's a guy who's made history, so I think it would be great, but it's not just up to me. If it were up to me, this fight would already be happening. I have a daughter to raise. Everyone wants to fight Conor, it's not just me. Everyone knows that fighting Conor is very profitable. I'm talking about money, and Conor knows that. Everyone wants to fight him. Conor McGregor fired right back on Instagram, posting a face-off with Oliveira. Glover Teixeira says that his weight cut for UFC 275 was the cause of him gassing out against Jiri Prochazka. Glover takes responsibility, but says the weight cut was the reason he got so tired. Even though it was 9:30 at night, I cut the weight at 3 in the afternoon and then stayed until 9:30 at night without drinking water, without anything. And then when I started to recover, I started to vomit. I couldn't do the interview after the weigh-in, and that got in the way. It got in the way in the 5th round. I always talk to my students, the weight cut will get in your way. If it's a tough 5-round fight, it will get in your way, and it got in the way. I think that was it. I've never had a recovery like this. The fight was brutal. I don't want to blame my camp. I can do the fight again, and I can get tired again. I want you to expose this part. I want to take away all responsibility because the camp is everything. If I didn't lose the weight right, he did better than me. If I didn't lose the weight properly, it was my fault. That's what I'm talking about. I just have to adjust, so it was totally my fault. I might be blaming it on the weight, but I'm taking responsibility for myself. Sean O'Malley confronts Daniel Cormier and says he doesn't appreciate DC and Joe Rogan's commentary on his fights. He asked Cormier if he's ever went back and watched this particular fight since the live event.
I'm my biggest fan, so when I hear you guys say, oh, why don't they just do what Cheeto did? You know, Cheeto didn't do. He got lucky, kicked my nerve. You go, have you ever watched that fight back, Daniel Cormier? Have you ever watched that fight more than the first time live?
I haven't. I have not.
Will you do me a favor?
No.
Go watch that fight and tell me I didn't whoop his ass.
I will watch it, and then I will speak to you about it when I see you in July.
I appreciate that. That drives me crazy is the Cheeto Vera leg kick, how a couple times you go, and I've watched my fights back over and over and over again, and every time I hear you and Joe say something, they say, I don't know why they don't kick his legs like Cheeto Vera did. It was very effective for him. Oh, God, it drives me crazy, DC. That's what drives me crazy.
I understand.
The leg kick he landed, wasn't a good quality leg kick. My leg kicks I was landing on him were making him spin in circles. His big toe hit the nerve when I was pulling out from a kick. That wasn't it was a very effective kick, but it wasn't the leg kick that you guys are talking about. Just chop his legs down.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and this is to our and here's to my defense. I can't speak for Rogan. Here's to my defense. Where else in the octagon have you shown that there's an ability to hurt you? So it's like we're telling the story, right? Yeah. So we're kind of pointing to the one area in which that something worked effectively. And then you got to remember, one time you did an interview sitting on the ground because your leg was hurt. So it's like I'm calling back to these moments in the only times that I have seen you compromise. That's really the only thing that we're doing. Because outside of that, you have not done anything or shown many places inside the octagon where you've struggled. So it's actually more of a compliment to Sean O'Malley opposed to he's weak in that area, because the reality is that's the only thing that we have seen effectively do anything to Sean, even if you have said that it was a lucky kick.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out MMA Library. If you like the content we do here on this channel, please like and subscribe for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.